The white? Yep. And let's just, can you angle the phone just slightly more for me? There we go. Like angle down just a little. Perfect. Awesome. Hi.
Shalom. Oh, we're live already?
Hello.
Oh, it does it automatically?
I think it's automatically going. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. We're going to have my fisherman position the camera in a second, but otherwise, we're good. How are you?
I'm great. It's been a while since I've done one of these with someone else, so I'm just trying to remind myself how to get everything going. Okay, I can see I'm setting up my iPad so my son can use it, and I've put it in this hilarious childproof holder.
Which seems like a great place to be in the tub.
Yeah, right? Exactly. So I'm using it so I can see the chat, and Sean's going to moderate from the computer.
Cool.
And this looks like Chelsea. Chelsea's a fan of both of ours, and she's in the chat saying hello.
Hi. Shalom. Oops.
Hello,
I'm pushing buttons.
hello. I'm just letting you know we're getting set up. Ooh.
I'm going to get to our live on my iPad.
If you go to my YouTube page,
I'll go to you. Yes.
Yes, and then click on live. It should show there, and just make sure your volume's down because it's literally playing at just a few seconds behind you and I talking, so we'll have an echo. Make sure your volume's down because it's literally playing at just a few seconds.
All right. Volume is down. iPad is up. Now I just need the phone to be positioned, and I'm good.
Is your hubs going to move it for you?
He's totally going to move it for you. He's going to magically give me some water. Cheers to him.
Oh, yay. Hey, buddy.
And then he wants me to, I don't even think I'm sweaty. I think I put oil on my face because my regular moisturizer wasn't around. But we'll take it. Thank you, love. And then, all right, we'll get me positioned. All right.
I'm really seeing this nice top of yours. Did you make this
Thank
one
you.
or buy this one?
It's ID fabrication shells. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
My goal is don't let anybody see, okay. And then put it, see, I tried to position the thing appropriately, give or take.
I'm trying to say shallow and it keeps auto-correcting me.
Slide down a little bit.
So shalom to everybody who's watching. We've got about 12 people who've started with us. Shay and I are just setting up.
Towards the... Yeah. What do I see? Blue. Oh, that's my sweater. Okay. I think how do I look? Man. Oh, maybe if we angle it just down a little bit, you can see. Or you might actually, I think it's going to fall. Slide the phone itself down. I don't know.
So while we're getting set up, tell me in the chat if you feel comfortable to do so, where everybody in the chat is from, if you feel comfortable.
Okay, and then angle it down just a little bit. Yeah, we'll rock with that. Okay. Sure. Now I want it. I've lost this arm, so I think a little more. Yeah. Okay. All right. Raina, what do you think? How do I look?
I think you look great. Are those some of your photo prints behind you?
We've got a print of me, and then awesome gifts I've gotten from people. Different artwork. I've got my Mickey D's Ariel. I got this Mami Wata at a art festival.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I need to put the sweet one you gave me. This I got from Shop Softcore when I went to Con last year. Isn't that fun?
I love that. That's so cute. I can see it better on my my phone is so far away from me on a tripod. So we have a Molly is here from Dartmouth, and she's laughing because her username is showing somebody else that says Andrew, but Andrew is Molly. Hi, Molly. We have Winter Mermaid from Florida. Hello. We have Mermaid Sapphire, who joins most of my live streams. Shallow, and Chelsea, who's been really excited for this one, she said. And yeah, this is so I'm Raina. If you're new to my channel, I think most of the folks here, we're up to 21 now, are my usual followers. And I'm so excited to have Mermaid Che here once again on the channel. It's been a little over a year. We tried to make it work back in the fall and then maybe over Christmas. And my life was too hectic, and we had a hard time trying to make things work. But since we've seen you all, Shay and I have both had big milestone birthdays, which is very, very exciting, I think. Yes. So Shay, why don't I'm going to let you introduce yourself rather than me introduce you, because I don't want to. I think last time I was like controlling the live stream a little too much, so I want to just make sure I'm being fair and cordial here.
You know, I am one of those people. I'm like a recovering control freak, and now I love when other people take charge. I'm like, you know what? I'm just here for the ride, and it's fabulous. So do your thing. I know you do this more often than me, but hello, I'm Mermaid Che Monique. I'm from Northern Virginia, right outside of Washington D.C. I am. What am I? I adore Raina and miss you and hope we can do this more. You bring the weather though, because the last time we did this, we had like a freak snowstorm, and now we're having this weird wind situation. And you might hear it because I'm in a drafty basement, and I had to like put the like plastic over the windows, but the wind is so hard it's like lifting it. And so if you hear like that is like the 50-mile-per-hour winds we're getting. So thank you, I guess, for bringing interesting weather. Um, one of your mer powers.
I love
Uh,
it.
I founded Society of Fat Mermaids, which is a size-inclusive clothing line and community that celebrates and centers fat folks. What do? I do a bunch of stuff. I teach mermaiding classes here in Northern Virginia. I am a member of Circus Siren Pod. I perform with the Enchanted Teapot.
Okay, I am going to interrupt because Shay is kind of burying the lead. If you don't know who Shay is, you can turn on your Netflix right now and go watch her. Shay stars in the Netflix series Mer People, and I've known Shay. I get to be one of these people who's like, I knew her before she was famous. um, but Shay was on this really cool show where she got to showcase mermaiding. And in addition to all the wonderful things Shay is sharing about herself, she's also a very gifted speaker. And we do a lot of the same conventions where she's brought in as a special guest. And I love it. So I'm in East Coast Canada, and I love having my mer friends all over the world. And this is an industry and also a community of just really cool people who are worldwide. And like I said, you can go watch Shay on Netflix. Also, Shay, you do have your own YouTube and your own social media handles. Did you want to tell that to the group? We're almost up to 40 people here.
Woohoo! Yes, I'm Mermaid Che Monique everywhere here on YouTube. Definitely trying to grow on YouTube. I'll type in my username and I'm Mermaid Che Monique. Basically, well, not everywhere. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook. Yeah, those ones. And like I have the Blue Sky handle, but I still haven't figured out how to navigate Blue Sky. And also you can follow Society of Fat Mermaids in all of those places as well.
My phone just gave me the alert that I'm starting my live stream with you. I caught on a little late, but like my little reminder, live stream with Shay just popped up. We've got a couple more comments here. We've got Taylor Kinsbury is saying hello. Brian Pitts says hi. HFX Mermaid and Mermaid Che Monique, you ladies look amazing. Sophia Hamilton says we love you. Happy swimming. And we have another special guest, Mermaid Che, if you'll permit us for a few minutes. My son, who I nicknamed Trout when we're on the internet, really wanted to join. So he's gonna say a little hello. And he really wants you to see his new tail. You want to give him a flash?
Fantastic. I'm going to pull up my iPad so I can really see it better with the delay. Oh, whoa, you and mommy are twinning. That's so
We
cool.
are.
That's
yeah,
cool.
Good Map says, would have loved to see a beach background. Me too, bud, but I'm in the middle of a polar vortex. So you're getting bathtub mermaid for now. I promise when the weather's nicer, Shay and I will try to live stream again in like out in an outdoor space or something.
Yeah, I have a little mermaid cove I recently started live streaming from, or last summer. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, we live streamed this summer from the ocean. Actually, we were on an island and we live streamed from there, which was really cool. And we actually live streamed from a little rock in the ocean too.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So I'll introduce Trout here. I try to be careful with him on the internet. I am a performer and I do TV. And Trout is often in those things because he's in the background or he's at events with us. So it's a little bit tricky. I don't want people to see him in this video and think, oh, she's making content of her kid. Like, that's weird. No, it's sort of this weird little thing we have to navigate because we do these TV shows locally. And as you can see, he really enjoys the community and the costumes and likes to be able to do it. And hey, you're doing swimming lessons right now, aren't you? Do you want to tell everyone how old you are? Do you remember how old you are? 4. Yeah. Do you remember meeting Shay? You were a little baby the first time you met her. Yeah, you don't remember? You want to put the bath bomb in the water? Is wearing my bracers from Merman Garnet, and they're so big on him. They can cover a leg. And this is his first real mermaid tail that he's learning to swim in. He used to have the baby tails that were just costumes, and now he's learning to swim. Oh, are we cuddling? So Mommy and Shay are going to talk for a bit. If you get bored and you want to get out, Daddy's right here and he can lift you out, okay? But we're gonna talk because we got lots of people on the internet who want to hear all about mermaids. So periodically throughout this live stream, I am going to like prompt Shay with questions and things that we're going to discuss, but I'm also going to keep popping back to the chat and she and I will try to read out the chat. If you have questions you want to ask us, please pop them in there, or if you want to share anything about yourself. Even though the live streams are meant to be like for adults, sometimes we do get children watching them. I have a lot of moderation settings on the chat, but I would just ask that people try to be respectful, please, so that I don't have to ban hammer you, okay? So I am going to read a couple things. We've got a few people saying hi and hello, cute couple, very cool, awesome. We look amazing. Why, thank you. We're enjoying it. So Shay, I feel like a really cool icebreaker to start this live stream would be maybe to talk about your outfit a little bit. Tell us about your tail.
So you'll see me get this tail if you watch the Netflix special, Mer People. This tail was actually made for me by Mermaid Che. She designed these scales. She has, I think, videos on Instagram where she's like hand sculpting the scales with a spoon. They're kind of more of a fantasy scale than a hyper realistic scale, but it's really pretty. She put like 4 different color shift paints. So this tail is both very simple. There's no extra fins. Doesn't have like a super complicated pattern or anything like that. but it's like, I don't know, it's almost like elegant and refined in that it's like got these really detailed scales and all these color shift paints. And so depending on the angle, if I move, depending on the lighting, it kind of looks different colors. And she says like to really make that happen, it was different pigments, but also painted in different directions so that like different directions will catch the light in different ways and get a different color. I'm
I've
super,
noticed that it's quite iridescent. Like when you're moving in the video, we can see it reflect on there.
yeah. So yes, the scale is most known for her tops. She makes these super, super cute tops that a lot of people love. Um,
She used to do a lot of sequin work too, I remember.
oh yeah, she used to do the sequin tails. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
That was like Cariel and Hannah, like the kind of OGs and the sequin tails.
Yeah, yeah. And you can see that Shay and I are wearing different types of tails today. I am wearing one that's a fabric one. It's called the Guppy line by Mertailor, and they're used for teaching people how to swim in the mermaid tails. They're really great for beginners. The reason I'm wearing this one today is my son picked it out for Christmas and wanted us to match. And I haven't actually done anything with it yet because we were very sick over Christmas.
My tail is a rainbow.
Your tail is rainbow. He loves rainbows. His nickname is a rainbow trout because he's a rainbow baby. That's a nickname for a baby that is born after a loss, right?
Rainbow baby.
That's right.
Rainbow.
We have a good question here. The moderator caught it by accident, but it's a good one.
Outside
you
when I was a baby.
You weren't lost outside when you were a baby. That was a dream. Brian asks, Mermaid Che Monique, is your pretty silicone mermaid tail heavy when you're in it? Do you find the tail heavy?
Oh, she's so heavy. She weighs 40 pounds. But Brian also said without the monofin. And the monofin in most silicone tails, with the exception, I think, of like Revere tails, is built in. So the monofin is in. I'm wearing it, but oh, is she heavy? And you can see like she flops. She's heavy. Um, she weighs about 40 pounds. If I travel with her, usually a suitcase weighs 10 pounds. The tail weighs 40 pounds. That is a full checked bag on its own. And sometimes
Wow.
her around and I'm like, I'm really strong and I'm grateful for that because I'm like, not everybody would be able to haul this thing or handle this thing in the way that I do. But yeah, she is heavy. Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's a really good segue into why we sometimes use fabric tails. Again, really good for teaching people because you don't have to deal with how heavy the tail is. I also like to use fabric tails. I literally just spent like so much time cleaning this bathtub, and now my kid is just going to make it blue while we're talking. I often use fabric tails for dry land gigs because I've been doing this for 16 years and my ankles are tired of lifting the big silicone tails.
That's unreal.
So, I've actually downsized my silicone tail collection and I'm down to one, and I used to have like 5 or 6. And the one I have right now is about 25 pounds, not too bad. But River, you weigh 40 pounds almost, or Trout. So you're as heavy as Shay's tail, and trying to carry you around at gigs is a lot of work, especially when you're soaking wet. So hey, they say that you look very cute and handsome. Can you say thank you?
Thank you.
that was Sapphire. And you're wearing a very cute sweater right now. Can I hear about that too, please?
Yes, I want to jump in because Xavier Martinez says, how would it be if there was a mermaid fairy idea? And I just say there's such a crossover in those communities. So
There really is.
there are a few mermaid fairies out there. The first one that comes to mind for me is Clover Janae Mermaid. She's like a mermaid fairy vampire.
Oh, yeah, I just recently became friends with her. I love her stuff.
Yeah. But there's big crossover in those communities. My sweater
Twig
is
the Fairy. Twig the Fairy is like a really big fairy, and she's your board. Okay, are you all done? Yeah, okay. Excuse me for 1 second, Che, and then we'll come back to that. All right, you want to say goodbye to everybody?
Bye.
Let me switch out.
Thank you for coming
Okay.
in. Guys.
So we don't want to take this off in front of the camera. Dottie's going to lift you up and take you over there off camera. But Mommy's going to have a nice conversation with Shay. So you got to go find something to do until I'm done, okay? You can't be boogieing me while I'm talking to my internet friends, all right? Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Ready? Say bye to everybody. Show them
Bye, everybody.
your cool tail. Your cool new tail. Thanks to Mer Taylor. You got him, Dada? Mer Taylor. You're getting all the water everywhere. Thanks for coming in to say hi and making my bathroom a mess. All right, good job. Okay, sorry, I'm going to circle back to that. So we're talking about, Xavier asked about fairies and mermaids and the crossover. And yeah, Twig the Fairy is a really cool, well-known fairy performer. And she also does mermaid tales, so I love that.
Oh, fabulous.
My back.
Yeah. All righty. So we've got some more comments here. Is this Pizzagate or what? No, it's just two mermaids, man. We're chilling. Welcome to the party. I can just imagine opening up YouTube and seeing this with no context whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're alternating. We keep bumping up to 50 people watching, and then every time they put in an ad, it drops a little bit and then comes back up. So
Oh, learning something. Even know there were ads on live.
yeah, right. Yeah. So it depends on who's got the account. So Brian says Mermaid Che Monique and Halifax Mermaid. Speaking of crossover mermaids, would you want to do a fun Mermaid Anna or Mermaid Elsa or like Mermaid Belle or Mermaid Tiana? That's a really cool idea. And my friend Virginia Mermaid, she likes to do cosplay mermaids. She's done like a Dolly Parton mermaid, and she has done Elsa. I don't know if she's done any of the other princesses, but it's definitely something I've seen like in the cosplay world. People will combine cosplay and mermaids, which is kind of cool. I've never done anything like that, but people always think because of the red hair that I'm doing a take on Ariel. I just have red hair and wear red wigs. Have you ever done like a cosplay thing, Shay?
No, I've always been Mermaid Che Monique.
I love it.
But I've seen cool illustrations of like mer Disney princesses, and they've been really cool. And I think I've seen, oh, what is her name? There's another mermaid who's like a super dope cosplayer. Jacob, I think I saw you in here. Your friend. What is her name? She does Allie DeSantis. She does really
Yeah.
just all sorts of cosplay. But I maybe for Halloween I would like dress up as like a princess, but I love just being me. Mermaid Che Monique.
Yeah.
So that's the lane I like.
I love it. I love it. I'd like to be me too. I go by Mermaid Raina. If you're new to my channel, I think we just got kind of like an uptick of people who are like, "What the heck is this?" So for our usual followers who know who we are, I apologize because when you do these live streams on Vertical, it sends it out to a lot of people who've never seen it before. A lot of people think it's really weird when they first see it, naturally, which is okay with me. I enjoy a weird life. But I am going to take breaks throughout the live stream just to contextualize and introduce ourselves. So yeah, I'm Mermaid Raina. You're on my channel. I've been a professional mermaid for over 16 years, and I've been documenting my journey on YouTube. And I've had a few things go viral, which have been really cool. And with that, I try to use my platform to showcase other mermaid friends who are on YouTube. My friend Mermaid Che here is really amazing. We're both in different countries, but we've met at a number of events and conventions where we both get booked as special guests. My background is in working with children, so I often get booked at these events to teach people how to work with kids and teach them things and deal with like behaviors and whatever, birthday parties, entertainment. And I also am really good at YouTube, so I get brought in to give little workshops on how mermaids can get involved in YouTube. So this is a real business. People do this, and you can actually see Mermaid Che in the Netflix series Mer People. So if you want more context and you're just having your mind blown because you're finding out that this is a job people can do, you can watch it on Netflix, which is so cool. And we're both been talking today about our costumes and sort of our interests and background. We're answering questions in the chat, so you can definitely ask us things. You know, I'm doing my best to moderate stuff. Sometimes we get kids watching these videos, even though they're not made for kids. So please try to be respectful in the chat. I've got the moderation up really high. So if you're going to be a jerk, there's no point. It's just going to catch your comment and I'm just going to ban you. So I don't know. You're wasting your energy. Just have some fun with us. Ask us something interesting that we can tell you. And yes, please check out Mermaid Che. When this live stream publishes, I'm going to be able to add her as a collaborator and she'll be linked. But it wouldn't let me do it scheduling it. So you can go check her out by clicking on her profile, click right on her name there in the chat, and you can click to follow her. Shay, you mentioned earlier that you teach mermaiding. Could you tell the audience a little more about what that means? Because I think some people are just learning for the first time that this is a thing they can learn how to do.
Okay, well, first of all, I cannot teach you how to swim. Because sometimes people think that because I'm a mermaid instructor, that I'm also a swim instructor. That is definitely on like the list of like skills I'd like to gain, but I'm not there yet. But if you can already swim competently, not the like I can swim but not in the deep end, that means you don't know how to swim. But if you can already swim, I can get you in a tail similar to what Raina has on and teach you how to do the dolphin stroke and all sorts of fun tricks in the water. I usually teach on Thursday nights, and Thursday night is like it's just the most fun night of the week. And I'm really grateful that I started teaching because sometimes you can get too like I got like too deep into mermaiding and some of the like inner workings. Like it's cool to know like all the different things and like who thinks what about what, but like I got too deep in, and now that I'm teaching I get to be with people who just have that like magic of like finding mermaiding for the first time. And it reminds me like why I love this, like what this actually means, like what the purpose is, because I think on some level I got just, like I said, too far in. And every Thursday night I get to be with people who don't know the difference between a mertailer and a fin fun. And it's so cool to A, be able to like tell them, but B, just see them get excited. So it's just really, really a good time.
And I love that too. I'm not an instructor yet because there's literally 2 people in my entire country who can certify instructors, and one of them thankfully is in my city, but she's trying to get enough people together to do a class, and she's away right now. So I will get my instructor training, but I've got all the way up to my advanced, and I have my free diving. Before the industry was standardized, so you can go to like a PADI scuba center the same way that you would learn scuba diving, and you can learn mermaiding and get a certification, which is cool. Before that, though, 10 years ago, I had a mermaid school where I just worked with the local swim program, and we created a curriculum with me and the lifeguards and swim instructors, and we had mertailer tails and fins, and this was like OG ones back in the day for the kids. And yeah, we did fantastic lessons, and then adults wanted to learn, and in the States, mermaiding is really, really popular. There's lots of community groups, there's lots of companies, but in Canada, it's only just now starting to get somewhere. So when I started my career, there was like nothing. And anybody who wanted to be a mermaid and work for me, I had to train them from the ground up and rent them my tails because they couldn't even like it was so hard to get tails into another country. So that was like a really interesting kind of comparison, I think, just between how far things have come. I remember when I couldn't even get like a company to mail me a monofin.
Wow.
Like they wouldn't mail me one. So now it's like now we have so many to choose from.
That's so awesome, but such a journey. I will say though, I am a NAUI, like a certified NAUI instructor, but that's not the class I teach. I decided that I just like to teach just like rec center mermaiding, if that makes sense. Just like more of a
I love
casual
it.
class along the lines of what it sounds like you were teaching in the past. And yeah, like having the NAUI certification kind of helped me open the door to that. But
Perfect. I love
I
it.
like the people who want to come in like week in and week out, just as something fun to do after work, don't necessarily want that like almost professional level cert. Um, and so I know you've got a lot on your plate, especially with trout and like being YouTube famous and uh, doing all the things. But I feel like there's room, even though the certifications are out there, I still think there's room for the more like casual class, especially from someone like I don't think that someone listening to this should just pick up a tail and be like, I'm a mermaid instructor. But like you literally wrote a book on mermaiding. I think more than one. Tell me about your books.
Yeah, I don't talk about my books that much because I like they were outdated. I wrote them like a decade ago, and back then the information was so sparse and the industry was really just starting to grow. So I have 3 books and I wrote them because nothing was really standardized, and I thought there was a lot of safety issues and just a lot of people who really wanted to grow and learn but didn't know where to go. So my first book it's called How to Be a Mermaid, and it's a combination of documenting like a year in my life doing this as a job full time and also explaining how I did it. Then I did a second book called My Life as a Mermaid, and it's more biography and it's just stories from my time doing this as a job. And then my third one is called The Fishy Business Handbook, and it's meant to be like a business plan that you can use as a performer. It's made for mermaids, but it can be adapted to anybody. And you just do the book cover to cover, fill it in, find out the info you need. And then when you're finished the book, the idea is you have a business plan that you can use for something like this. So I don't promote it as much anymore because the industry is so big now that people don't really need it. That being said, I really want to do another book that's local interest and my experiences working as a maritime mermaid in the provinces that I'm in Canada. And there's been some interest from local publishers on that, but I just have no time. I have no time right now. So.
Valid.
Shay, how about would you like to take a moment and maybe you could read some of the comments and we can tackle some of the questions we're getting?
Absolutely. Oh, okay. I love this. If kids ask you what you eat, what would you say? Because a lot of kids mer shows and the mers have fish friends and you can't say you eat them. That's such a fun question.
Love it.
I I vacillate. Like I in real life I love shrimp. So I say shrimp. I was vegan when I started mermaiding, so I would talk a lot about a bunch of different seaweeds. So if you don't want to eat your fish friends, you can say that you eat seaweed. A lot of times, like in performance settings, it's kind of fun to do this whole like I don't do it as much, but like some of my pod mates, they'll say things like ice cream and hamburgers, and it's kind of like it's fun for me to come out on land and then I get to eat people food. Is something that a lot of birds do as well. What about you, Raina?
I tell them I eat rude little kids. No. No, I actually, you know what? That's a great question, but I don't get it very often. I think I've said like I eat seaweed, but then I said that once with Mermaid Mimi, and she started eating seaweed, and then the kids started eating seaweed. So you have to kind of be careful because kids will do monkey see, monkey do. But the couple of times I've been asked it, I kind of say the same thing. I'm like, oh well, underwater I eat a lot of seafood and which is funny because in real life I don't like seafood and seaweed, but I love to come on land and eat chocolate cake. And I like to redirect the questions back to the kids and be like, "What's your favorite food? Oh, maybe I should try it. Oh, I speak English and Mermish, and I get the words mixed up." Like I kind of improv, and I use a lot of the questions kids ask me as a way to turn it back around and ask them something and keep them engaged. So
Oh, that's a great idea. Um, Another one in here is, what's your favorite depiction of mermaids in entertainment? Any TV pilots for TV series that never got off the ground? And that's from Jeffrey Lynham.
oh, that's a great one. I personally am heartbroken that the show Siren got canceled. It's on Freeform, but I think you can find it on Disney Plus Hulu. Canada, we don't have Hulu, so for us, it's on Disney Plus. I actually consulted on that show and helped them do some of their problem solving for their underwater filming. They ended up going the CGI route, even though they made costumes and filmed in them. But they still used monofins, and the outfits that they CGI'd for the motion capture were still kind of like mermaid tails, just like rudimentary ones. I just loved the plot so much, but the show was a victim of COVID, right? Like the pandemic and the writer strikes and everything. It's a fantastic show. Of course, it ended on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And it's very adult. It depicts a lot of adult situations. It represents mermaids as different cultural groups. So, there's like this northern mermaid group where they're all female unless one of them swims in these very specific waters, and they'll become male, and then they can like procreate the rest of the pod. And of course those waters are contaminated and polluted, so they don't work anymore, so they're just like completely female and they have no way to like create new mermaids. So that was like a weird interesting side plot that I liked. They dive into the whole like government conspiracy of mermaids, but they actually make it work, so not like a cheesy weird thing. And the special effects were really cool. They had underwater, when they were mermaids, they had fangs, but like all of their teeth were fangs. So I remember looking at the behind the scenes, and all the actors had to have like their teeth modeled for like these veneers that had fangs. And I just thought it was so cool. All these actors learned how to free dive. They were filming underwater. It was real life filming underwater for all these scenes. It was filmed in Canada, and I was so sad when it ended. So, Siren is my favorite one. What about you, Shay?
Also, Siren, I love it. It just, uh, yeah, it was just so compelling. It was such a good show, and like, it wasn't cheesy. Like you don't even really have to be into like it's. I would say it's more sci-fi than fantasy, you
Yeah.
know. And it was just a really good show. Like, yeah, just so many complex topics addressed. I mean, you've kind of said the whole thing. I forgot you consulted with them. That's so incredible. But
Yeah,
Siren,
I just taught them like the lady who was coordinating all their stunts. I know her. She's like a well-known freediver, Roberta, in Canada, and she I taught them the trick about using the sinus savers and stuff, and like when they were building their costumes, I gave them info and like the weight belt techniques and stuff. So yeah, that was so cool. But they created like an underwater sign language, and it reminds me a little bit of Avatar. Like, how on the Avatar movies it's always like I see you, and they kind of push their heads together and stuff. The mermaids in Siren, they did like this arm on their chests thing that they would do, and I
yeah,
thought it was like so intimate and beautiful. And I always just wanted like to being a grown up, and I'd like see Merman Jacks at the cons, and I'd be like, dude, let's film it, let's do the chest thing. Let's do
yeah.
it. Because I just loved it. We've got a few more questions here too. How much do the tails cost?
As the guy who offered to shovel my driveway the other day said, how much you want to pay?
Exactly. I love that. That's hilarious.
I mean, you can go from, I would say, $100 to $10,000, and there's
Yeah,
probably a
this is
tip
a
on every
$100
step.
one right here. Yeah, this one, the reason I'm showing it off is because it's a nice budget-friendly tail. It's about $100. The fins themselves you can get on Amazon. The tail skin for this one came from Mertailor. It's like $100 American, so like 130 Canadian plus taxes and import fees. But yeah, I think the most I ever spent on one, because I bought my tails before the real bubble got big. I got 3 tails that were used in a lot for 5 grand. And then the resale value on the tails is really, really high. So one of them I kind of auctioned off, and it went for almost 3 grand USD, or maybe it did go for 3 grand USD, and it was like a decade old, but it was a collector's item and people really wanted it, so they just kept bidding. And yeah, so they have a really good shelf life, and if you take good care of the silicone ones and you don't get any mold or damage, you do get a really good return on your investment. I find, like, most people don't have to knock too much money off of them, and if you're lucky enough to get one that's like a collector one, or let's say, Shay's was made by Mermaid Carriel. Let's say tomorrow Carriel decides she's never going to make tails again. The value of Shay's tail would go through the roof, because nobody would be able to get a Carriel again, right? So that's kind of what happened with the one I had. Can mermaids have tattoos? And if they can, what do you tell the kids who ask about it? So I have tattoos right now. The only time I can't have tattoos is when I'm doing filming work. Some film stuff doesn't mind, some does. I had special skin tone gloves made that went all the way up my arms and gave me webbed hands, and they covered my arm tattoos for a film. Other TV shows, films, music videos I've done, they don't care, but for that particular one, we covered it. In terms of working professionally, I've never had an issue having tattoos, and I've been doing it 16 years. Now, I'm not heavily tattooed, but I've got one here, I've got one here, I've got them on my arms. And when the kids ask me, I tell them I got it from pirates, because pirates have tattoos. And I just tell them I got them from pirates, and they all mean special things to me. So I've got a manatee tattoo here from a real life time when I swam as a mermaid and manatees came up and chewed on my hair. And it was like this beautiful moment. So I have a little manatee one. Do you have any tattoos, Shay? I can't recall.
I do not have any tattoos, and it often surprises people because I think I have, like, I don't know, the type of personality that makes people think that I would have tattoos. And I always say that the elements of my personality that make you think that I would have a tattoo are the same elements of my personality that make me, like, cautious about making permanent decisions. Because I can be very impulsive and free spirited and all of that, but I know this about myself, and so I'm very cautious about, like, anything that I can't, like, hit the undo button on.
Yeah, I feel you. I put a lot of thought into my tattoos, and I don't regret any of them. And they mean a lot to me, but I'm pretty sure I'm done getting any more. I don't have a reason for any more. Everything has a reason behind it. I have my husband's name, and a few times I've regretted that when we've had arguments. So, I love him, and he's great, but they say that's a cliche, right? We've been together 18 years, and there's still sometimes where I look at him and I'm like, you jerk. So, I don't recommend getting someone's name tattooed on you. Um, but yeah, I do know that some of the mermaids who are more heavily tattooed, like Luna Marie is a lovely mermaid, and she's talked a bit about how aquariums don't like having her have a lot of tattoos. I've personally never had that experience, and Canada's provinces, I find that in the United States, you'll have some states that are much more conservative where stuff like that won't fly. Our conservative provinces are still fairly liberal, so we don't really have, like, oh, if you visit one state, you're gonna, or if you visit one province, people are more like they act more conservative or have more conservative expectations is not super a thing here. But I've noticed it when I travel though, right? Like when I've been in certain states, like I don't know, like I had a friend who was like, you shouldn't wear that sundress, like it's church Sunday. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know that. So like when you go to Germany, right? You have to like, I don't know, like if you've been to Europe, but you can't have your shoulders showing when you tour the churches and stuff. Like it's
Yeah.
really interesting. Do you want to tackle another question? You can pull one. We're getting a lot of them.
God, I feel like I saw one a while ago that looked cool. So I'm gonna scroll up. Oh, there was a shout out for Fairwind Cosplay. Oh, I know what it was. Now I have to find who actually. Oh, I love animals again. Could you wear like pearl or gold jewelry and still be able to swim, or would that get in the way? I love wearing jewelry underwater. I am wearing like the least stuff ever, and that's just because I've had an interesting day. Oh, I'm not even wearing my earrings. Oh my goodness. I like was like, and when I get in the chair, I'm gonna put on these earrings. That's so funny. But yeah, and to be fair, jewelry like if it's like a big pearl necklace or like earrings like this, you will feel the drag. You will like it will kind of get in the way, but it also depends on like, are you in a race or are you performing or are you telling a story? Like, what are you doing in the water? Because
Yeah,
like in
exactly.
the tank, like I love like a pearl necklace. I like to play with it. So it kind of depends on what you're doing. But I would
Yeah.
say typically it creates drag when you're swimming, but also it just adds to the fun.
Yeah, totally agree. The only things that I find hard is I like to have my hair out of my face. So I
Mm.
often have like a circlet or clips or something because when I surface, if I don't have it pinned back, the hair comes down in front of my face and I look like a monster. I had a really funny gig once where that happened, and a kid was like, "Is that supposed to happen?" Like freaked him right out. I think I was looking like the lady from The Ring coming out of the TV. I also like to wear a lot of jewelry. Just got to be careful because certain fish will go for it. Like when I was wearing them in Mexico, certain fish would like try to bite anything shiny. So I had to be careful with that. And obviously, if we're in natural bodies of water, we have to be careful that nothing we're wearing is going to leave pieces behind or something, right? So,
Right.
oh, I just accidentally, hey, Twyla, a fish called Twyla, I just accidentally moderated you and I'm going to fix that. Sorry about that, darling. I don't know how. You can read another question if you want, Shay. I'm going to try to fix this.
Okay, let's see. Oh, y'all have the best question. Ha. All right, Brian says, oh, and hi, Christopher. Mermaid Che Monique, is it hard to get in and out of your silicone tail you're wearing right now? Also, how do you get in and out of your silicone tail right now? I've seen some mermaid tails that have a hidden zipper in the back. I would love one of those. The mythic tails have a hidden zipper, and I think that's great. Getting in and out of this tail is no fun. Her name is Millie. I think we might have heard yelling. My fisherman's playing like violent video games downstairs, and sometimes it gets a little loud. But this is Millie. I've had her for like 3.5 years now, and I feel like we have just kind of finally gotten into our groove. Last year around this time, I did a like 90-day challenge where like I live streamed like every day, not live streamed, but I posted 3 times a day. And I think that like I just really flexed my muscle of getting in and out of the tail, in and out of the tail, in and out of the tail. But at first it was so hard and it's still not easy. I'm just more used to it. I think also time the silicone just starts to like stretch a little bit, like kind of like a pair of jeans, like how you break in your jeans. I feel like you have to kind of break in your tail.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Is I wear leggings, so you've probably seen like mermaids like lube up from their like feet all the way up to their butt. I have a
Yeah.
lot of surface area. I'm a big girl. So I wear leggings. I wear leggings from Society of Fat Mermaids, available in an extra small through a 6XL, or 5X maybe. But I wear leggings, and the leggings I wear are slippery, and so I don't have to lube my whole body. So I just lube my feet. Um, and one of the biggest things in it, it took me a while, like it was just a learning curve, is to make sure when I'm putting the tail on, it's as straight as possible. Because if it's twisted at all or anything, like it's gonna be no bueno. Trying to get into it, but it's deal to have help. Like but I can do it by myself now. I think that's like the biggest thing that probably happened in 2025. Was like I can do it by myself, but sometimes I still ask for help. If help's available, I will ask for help. And then the other thing that's hard is that it's laborious. And I'll be honest, I in my day job, I'm a massage therapist, so I use my hands a lot. When I started getting used to getting in and out of this tail, I would get the worst like hand and wrist pain because it was like using those same muscles in a different way. And I'd be getting massage. I like sleep in wrist brace still. Excuse me. I need a cough drop, but I can't walk. But I would sleep in a wrist brace still just because like mermaiding uses my hands, mostly getting out of the tail in a particular way, and then work does too.
Of course.
So there's like some physical discomfort there in a significant way. But now I can get in about like 5 minutes. Like it used to take 20 minutes. But the worst thing is, like, you're getting ready for a gig, whatever that gig is. If you're outside, it's like hot. And so you're like trying to do this hard work, and like the sun is beating down on you because, like, especially again, being a bigger fish, as much as I can, I try to like tail up close to where I'm going to be. Somebody's going to throw me over their shoulder and then carry me down the block. So you're like, you got the sun beating down on you. You like wiggle in, do your thing. And it's like go time. And now you're like hot and sweaty and out of breath. So like,
Yep.
It's like you got to do this workout to get in the tail, and like your job, whatever it is, still hasn't started. If anybody's been here since the very beginning of the live stream, the fisherman was like handing me a napkin. He's like, "Mop your brow, girl. Like you're sweaty."
This is a big reason why I'm happy that there's now performance level fabric tails, because I can get them on so fast. I spent a decade doing gigs in my really difficult to put on silicone tail. I would break nails to the point that I would bleed. I would slip trying to get into it on wet pool decks and break fingers and toes. We would tear the tail accidentally and then be trying to do like roadside surgery in between gigs. Like I've had a couple of those where Sean's like trying to pull the tail up and we rip the waistline or we rip a fin off it, and you're like 5 minutes before your gig. Also, sometimes where we have a lot of snow, we would leave early for a gig, but the snow would make us late, and I'd have like literal minutes to get the tail on and get in the water and be magic and pretend like I'd been there forever. I've had legitimate panic attacks trying to put the tails on. And the worst is when you're in a big rush and you're putting the costume on and you're trying to do like a kid's party or something, and you feel that foot cramp or that like hamstring cramp, but you're like, I just gotta get it on. I gotta do it. I gotta go make magic for some kids. And there's been a couple times where I wore my silicone tail and I couldn't get my feet all the way in the pockets, and I just had to do the gig with my feet not properly in. And that sucked. It was miserable. So I really don't enjoy putting the silicone tails on at all. I also find like when you put them on and you get in the water, they suction and it hurts, and that's like really unpleasant. So then you're like trying to get it to work and like flush it with water, and you're trying to do all this while still be like mermaidy and magical and make it look easy, and the kids are like, okay. Uh, Another good question from I Love Animals, who's just like coming up. Okay, before I answer the question, I just wanted to say to one of our users, I accidentally banned you from commenting, and it wasn't on purpose. A fish called Twyla, I think that's how that your name is pronounced. It will not let me fix it from the app. I have to fix it afterwards on my PC from the computer, but I will fix it. And I super apologize that you're not able to comment right now, especially because your comments are great and I appreciate them. The guy above you was just talking about boobs, so I had to ban him, and it did something kind of funny and banned you at the same time. So I apologize, and I will fix that. I Love Animals says, can you still act as a mermaid if you're pregnant, or do you have to stop? This depends on the person's health when they're. Oh, hey, actually, Sean fixed it for you because he's on the computer. Thank you, Sean. So Twyla, you should be good. You're back. And if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, you can correct me. Okay, so back to the question, ADD, sorry. Can you still act as a mermaid if you're pregnant, or do you have to stop? It depends on the individual's health. I was really high risk when I was pregnant, and it was during COVID, so we weren't doing gigs. But I did keep checking in with my doctor to see if I was allowed to swim, because I had really high blood pressure, and then exercising can make your blood pressure go up higher. So that was a bit tricky. But a healthy pregnant person can still mermaid and swim safely. And I actually wasn't a healthy person, and I was still encouraged to do it because they wanted me to exercise. I have some videos on my YouTube channel. If you look at my long form videos of me mermaiding while pregnant, 9 months pregnant, literally like a week before I had my kid, I was in the ocean swimming. It's really cute to see my big mermaid belly. Like, I loved it. And actually found after I had my baby, I had an emergency C-section. So like I didn't have a baby in like the traditional way, but I still had a lot of the same traditional problems that people have when they have babies. So one is that your hips widen. Your hips actually widen whether you have a baby naturally or through C-section. And they felt really weird the first time I tried to swim as a mermaid, because we use our hips a lot. We do this kind of dolphin kick movement. It's almost like the worm underwater. And I actually found swimming after I had the baby way weirder and maybe even more worrisome than when I was pregnant. And I was like asking my doctor, like, are my hips okay? And they're like, yeah, you're just gonna get used to it. And I eventually did, but it was weird. But yeah, being pregnant, I was fine. And you guys are asking like great questions. We're trying to get them all, but Sean and I are also moderating trolls. So stick with us if we haven't answered your question. Shay and I are trying to go back up and forth. Let's see. I Love Animals asked about swimming in like a beta fish style tail with flowy pieces, or would it be hard to swim in? So Shay, have you swam in any tails that had like extra fins or extra flowy pieces?
Extra fins, yes. Ooh. Extra fins, yes, but not like as big as a beta fish. My tail I used to wear the most had like a dorsal fin and ankle fins, but like it wasn't anything like super flowy and dramatic. So I haven't been in any tail that's had like a ton of extra drag. So I can't personally speak to that. I feel like a few years ago there was somebody who used to make those, was it Shallow Mermaid? Used to make the beta fish tails that were super popular for a while.
Yeah, they were really popular, but I remember they did have quite a lot of drag, and they would bubble
Yeah.
up, wouldn't they? Yeah.
So I don't have personal experience with that.
Yeah, like I've had
cool.
work tailor ones that have loads of extra fins, and I didn't find the extra fins all that draggy, but if the fluke, this part, if it has a lot of extra fabric, that can definitely be draggy and difficult to swim in. Really good for tank work and stuff because it looks beautiful and flowy. And when you're in a tank, you're in a confined space, so you don't have to swim really fast.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever do underwater photography as mermaids? I think you've posed for a lot of photography and videography, Shay. You have a calendar, right?
What was that?
You have a calendar.
I do have a calendar, but not this year. But I've had like 4 calendars, 3 or 4 calendars. I wish I had them on me. I feel like they're on the other bookshelf and not on me, but near me. But yeah, underwater photography is so much. I think it's fun. I love mermaids. Like I really, really, really love mermaids. And like for me, mermaiding is one of the rare things where like knowing how it's done makes it more impressive to me, not less, if that makes sense, you know? And so with photography, this might sound silly, but I say it's fun, but it's also like hard. And then you see these pictures and you're like, oh my goodness, is that me? Whoa.
Yeah.
And yeah, I dig it. And similarly with underwater photography, like I guess a lot of the different things we're talking about, like where you are is going to determine the experience. And I've had photo shoots in a tank. So the photographer is not underwater, but I am, but I'm not under a lot of water because I've done it in like a little tank. I've had photo shoots in the springs, which is interesting because you have whoever else happens to be using the springs that day. And I've also had photo shoots in a pool. And so like all of those settings have a different energy and different things you kind of have to do to navigate. But I do quite enjoy all of it.
I think that's a lovely way to explain it, Shay. I don't think I have much else to add other than I took a workshop from a well-known photographer in the mermaid industry, Brett Stanley. And I took a workshop with him in 2019 where he really focused on the models feeling comfortable underwater and using those freediving skills, that static apnea breath hold. And it was such an amazing experience for me. And some people came on our course and they were even nervous around water and they still ended up with like stunning ethereal images. So it was kind of really pivotal and life changing for me. The problem that my husband and I have is that nobody where we live does anything even remotely like that. So we often can only flex that muscle when we travel. And we do try to learn ourselves. So he and I both shoot a little bit of underwater photography and videography. We have like a very rudimentary camera with a sea frogs housing and one singular light. And it's been a challenge to do it together, but we do really enjoy it. I think it's just one of those things that our technical skill does not get the opportunity to grow because there's nobody here that we can really learn from. Whereas we go on a trip with Brett, I'm learning to model. We're both learning the photography better. My YouTube videos, I've experimented with a lot of different underwater cameras. I have a 360 camera that has just opened my world recently. I'm really enjoying that. But just like with all the nuance in it, I find it can be a really empowering thing. And I've helped coach people who are new to mermaiding and nervous, and I've helped coach them to get a good photo. And the satisfaction and the joy and the beauty that they feel afterwards when they see their photo and they're like, oh my God, is that really me? I love that. I'm addicted to that. I love being able to do that for people, especially because we're all our own worst critics. And when you can learn a skill and do a beautiful underwater photo, it's like magical. Guess what? You are the mermaid. I love it. I love it so much.
What would be your tip for someone trying to take a good underwater photo?
Don't puff up your cheeks. Everybody does it without meaning to. Like you do, it's instinctual. It's like your brain thinks if you puff up your cheeks, you're gonna float. I don't know why we all do it as a species, but like all of us go, whoop, when we go underwater. So don't puff up your cheeks. And if you find it too uncomfortable to have your eyes open, because that a lot of people get intimidated by that, at having their eyes open underwater, keep your eyes closed. You can have a very relaxing, sereneful looking photo if you keep your eyes closed and don't pump up your cheeks. And the most beautiful photos they can be taken in shallow water. You don't have to be out there diving in the ocean in the elements with a 40-pound mermaid tail on. Like you would be surprised. Some of my most beautiful photos actually from Brett's workshop. One of them is a candid where I was just practicing underwater trying to find the light, and I was like in 3 feet of water in a pool, and I kind of went like this and turned, and he snapped it, and it was just serendipitously perfect. It looks like something out of Vogue, and it had no planning whatsoever. I love it. What about you, Shay? What do you think is a good tip?
I think like don't try too hard. Particularly if you have an experienced photographer, and I think specifically with like underwater, they're used to kind of following you. And so I usually tell people to just like slowly swim around. Like think about the shapes you want to make with your body, but like don't try too hard. And also the thing I hate it. The most simple poses look the best. And so I always go in and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to do a backflip and like hopefully you can catch me at this point where like I'm in this perfect arch, or I'm gonna try to do this thing and like my tail's gonna be over my head, and like you want to try all this cool stuff. And then like sometimes like the best picture ever is like somebody just floating on top of the water and there's like the slight reflection on the water of them and their tail. And like, yeah, maybe their eyes are even closed. Or like you just do like a simple pencil dive and like a slight pose. It's like it's infuriating to me how doing the least looks the best.
Of course,
my
absolutely.
advice, don't try too hard.
I always find like nice self-contained stuff looks really beautiful, like just gentle hands that you're pulling in close to yourself. Like it just always just looks, but you're so right. It's so easy to overthink it. Our live stream has been going on for over an hour now, and I have noticed like a bit of a drop in our viewers. It's a bit late on my end, so I was thinking we could each tackle maybe one more question, and we'll wrap it up. And if we didn't get to your question, I think obviously it just means I have to have Shay back, and we need to do another one of these. But I do have a 4-year-old who's like really antsy for me to wrap up, so I can hear him talking to his dad. That was such a great discussion, though. And I see that like Brian has been asking a lot of great stuff. I love animals. Before we jump into the questions, I just want to say hi to a couple more people who jumped on. Siren Diving LLC, Anita, Brian's been asking great questions.
Buddies.
Yeah. Spiritual 876 loves this. We love you too. I got Twyla on band, thank goodness. And always giving me love on my channel. He's always here. It's funny, I have a couple regulars who didn't make it here, but all right. They'll see the playback and I'm sure we'll get some comments. Let me see. I'm gonna take one more question and then I'll encourage Shay to. So does your husband ever play as a merman with you? I convinced, he just laughed because he heard the question. I convinced my husband to try a tail once, and he found it very challenging. It was a friend's silicone tail who is also a guy, and he gave it a shot, and he did all right. I think if I'd given him more of a lesson and not just let him figure it out on his own, he probably would have done better. But I think it gave him an appreciation of how difficult and the amount of athleticism involved, because my husband's a very fit man, and back when he tried it he was like the peak of his fitness, and he still found it a bit of a challenge to adapt to, but he did give it a try once, which I'm proud of. I just wish that when our son was a baby I could have got the 3 of us in matching tails. I think that was a bridge too far for him. But I would have loved it. What about you? Has your husband ever given it a shot?
No, and I don't see that for him. My husband is such like a traditional dude. And he's really supportive. What was that? He's really supportive and really loving. He's also not the strongest swimmer. He'll wear the swag and the merch, but I don't see that for him. I can convince him to do a lot of things. And so it was actually interesting. Recently I met a newly married guy and I was explaining to him, because I was at a party and my husband wasn't there. And I was explaining, I'm like, he's antisocial, like he doesn't come out. And he's like, well, how do you negotiate when he comes out? And it's like, if it's that important, I'll make him come out. Like him being in his tail, like, is not that important to me. Him carrying my tail, actually, honestly, I don't mind carrying my tail. Him pulling my tail up for me, that's important to me. Him pushing the button so this thing starts, that's important to me. Him being in a tail, I don't care. So like I kind of like pick and choose my asks to things that are just like important. I had like a alter ego thing yesterday. Back in the day, I was a burlesque performer and I started this like troupe, and there's like a museum exhibit out, and the opening was last night. He got dragged to that because like that's important. Like I was honored in a museum exhibit. But the mermaid tail for me, he can be my fisherman. That's cool.
I love it. Yeah, Sean is Sean gets thrust into the spotlight. He's been in our documentary, he's been in the TV shows, and as much as he hates it, he's actually very good at it. He's really good at managing himself in the spotlight. He just doesn't enjoy it. And where I get a charge from it, like I really enjoy being on camera or performing or having, people watching while I do stuff. He really doesn't. So he can do it and he will do it, but it really drains him. So he needs like recovery time, and it energizes me. So also the one time he tried a tail, a lot of peer pressure was involved. So yeah, would you like to pick the last question, Shay? See what else
Yeah,
you've been
because
asked.
two people are asking the same thing essentially. Brian it says, Mermaid Che Monique, would you be willing to make like a video tutorial showing the full process of how you fully get in and then show the fully get out of your silicone mermaid tail you're wearing? And then Kalinga Ajisaputro said, Raina and Che Monique, can you live stream how to wear a silicone mermaid tail? Raina, you're probably going to have a different answer than me. So generally speaking, for me, if you see me online, I'm in character. When I do a live stream like this with someone else, I'll kind of talk about like how the sausage is made. But usually like everything I post, like as much as we're all adults here and I'm not really a mermaid, I like try to lean into that. And so for me, if I were going to do like a how to get in and out of my tail, that'd probably be something that maybe I would open to like my Patreon subscribers, or something that's more of like a closed kind of special space. I also soon am launching a program called School for Fish. So that might be something I would put over there because that's more of an educational space. But like as Mermaid Che Monique, if you ask me like, where'd you get your tail? Usually I'll say, I get it from my mama. I grew it. Because for me, it's just about like staying in character. And I think if I'm going to do that particular type of education, I would do it maybe in like a place that's a little paywalled. But Raina, you do a lot of educational content. And honestly, when I first started mermaiding, you were one of the first people I learned from, just your YouTube. So you may have a completely different answer.
Actually, believe it or not, I don't like being filmed putting on the silicone tail because I find it such a stressful thing to do. I'm really worried about breaking it. I don't want to also have to be worried that like I'm looking really unflattering or I'm doing something wrong and other mermaids are going to call me out. So I don't think I have any videos showing me taking it on. I do have a couple underwater videos where I show how to get the tails off in an emergency, hands-free. So I have that for all the different types of tails I own. I think there are some behind the scenes videos where I'm pulling on a fabric tail, but it's no more difficult than pulling on a pair of pants, really. So that's not too crazy. But for the silicone, I actually do agree with Shay. Like I would probably put that somewhere else. That being said, I did publish instructions in my book, and I did some photos of my sister with my husband helping her pull it up and showing kind of close up tricks of like picking it up, and then also picking up a mermaid, like how to safely pick up a mermaid. So like I have stuff like that in my book. But really, I just look really bad when I'm trying to put the silicone tail on. And even though I'm all about the education and sharing everything, I got feelings, guys. I mean, Shay, you've had this experience too, and maybe we feel differently about it, but I've gone viral a lot over the last 10 years, and I try to have a thick skin, but it's only so thick. I don't like to invite huge amounts of trolling, and I've had some terrible trolling in the past, and people are like, oh, just ignore it, or just ban them or don't read the comments or whatever. But when you have something go massively viral where it's on like every news outlet and it's on every social media and like hundreds and thousands of people are commenting on it, it just gets hard to like see all of your hard work reduced down to like an unflattering photo or a not so great angle, or just like whatever flaw they take in your body, right?
Yeah.
You know, like I used to, before I had braces, I would get a lot of comments on my teeth and stuff, so that kind of sucked. And yeah, and then also people will just project stuff that's not even there, which is just really weird too. I find like really weird. Like I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but on some of my viral stuff, I've had people get really religious and be like, this is a cult, and like this
Yeah.
is satanic. And I'm like, I'm just a mermaid who's trying to make kids happy. Like, what is wrong with you? Why did your brain go there? Oh yeah, you post your Patreon. Perfect. Hey Christopher, congratulations on getting 2,900 subscribers. That's awesome, bud.
Yeah. I am very slowly growing over here on YouTube. I think I'm at 1,200. So please give me a follow. It's
Absolutely.
every algorithm has a different personality and takes a different kind of energy to grow.
Yeah, it does. And actually, it was very consistent for a very long time. And then recently, the game kind of changed. So even I'm kind of like, this is wild. So, but yeah, this has been super fun, Shay. And I always love talking to you. And I always love our conversations. I really miss seeing you in person. I don't know when that's going to happen again, because even without the current political climate, the Canadian dollar is so low that the trips to the States, like it's costing an arm and a leg. So, but hey, did you want to come say,
Yes.
this is the guy behind the scenes who's been helping? Ooh, there's a head there.
I'm gonna play down.
Always good to see you.
Thanks.
Cool. Actually, I will get you to end it for me when we're done.
Sure,
here.
when you're done, I was just peeking in a couple times. Make sure
Yeah.
you're okay.
Yeah, no, I think I'm actually getting really hungry.
Okay, good.
Need some supper. Shay, anything else you would like our viewers to follow of yours? You can shout your stuff out again if you like, because people dropped in and out. So do a
Yes,
little self
please,
promo before we end.
shoot me a follow at Mermaid Che Monique. That's CheMonique. Yeah, shoot me a DM or sign up for that Patreon if you're wanting like a different type of content. The creative part of me right now is like, ooh, I should like do like a subscription blitz and like be like, if I can get 20 new Patreon people, I'll do this silicone tail video. I don't know that I have the energy to market that right now, but it feels like a good idea.
Yeah,
But
for
please
sure.
Mermaid Che Monique everywhere. Follow Society of Fat Mermaids. Not gonna lie, I've not been the best at updating those feeds, but especially as we're approaching con season, there'll be more stuff coming from Society of Fat Mermaids. And be on the lookout for School for Fish. I'm really excited about it. It's gonna be amazing, and maybe we can do a live stream. Actually, I'm gonna want you to like review it, Raina.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. Well, I really want to. You actually, I think, sent me an invitation about it a while ago, and my life is just. I found since becoming a parent, I think once my son starts school at the end of this year, my life is going to open up again. But it's just I'm in a season of my life where some days I just don't even know what day it is. It's like
that's
hard.
totally valid.
Yeah, it's hard to get my act together, but I really appreciate you coming on my channel, and I hope that this is going to get more traffic towards your page. And the way that this is set up on the back end now, I'm able to collaborate, link it with you the same way you can on like Instagram and stuff. So it should actually show up under your profile once I put that in. Yeah, I know that we asked a lot of the same questions as last time, but it seems like we had a fairly new audience this time. So thanks for the same talking points and the new ones. And yeah, thanks for letting Trout have a visit too, because he was really excited, even though he lasted like 5 minutes.
I mean, that's all it takes is a moment, right? I think that's such a big part of our work is just having magical moments with people. Thank you so much for inviting me to hang out with you, being flexible with scheduling, and I don't know, kind of like taking me under your wing on YouTube. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm really hoping we can get, the mermaid community doing well on here. And you're such a great leader in the industry that I want to see you do well. And YouTube live streaming is just such a great way to grow. So hopefully this will help us grow some more and get some good. We've had some great chat in here. So shout out. Maybe I'll do one last shout out before we end. So shout out to I Love Animals. Thank you so much for all of your fantastic questions tonight. Thank you to Christopher Barrett, who's always dropping in on my live streams. Brian Pitts, you had fantastic questions and comments too. We really appreciate you. Siren Diving LLC, you asked us a great question. We didn't get around to it, but I think it will be a really good conversation starter for Shay and I next time. Fish called Twyla, apologize for banning you. Sean fixed it. Thank you for your patience on that one. And let's see, was there a couple people in the beginning, maybe Sophia Hamilton, Mermaid Sapphire, Jacob was here from the Mertailor crew. Thank you so much. And yeah, we've Peyton. Oh, Peyton was here. Thanks, Peyton. I'm sorry I didn't shout you out. And Xavier. Thanks, Xavier. Again, two of my big time devoted people. And we had Andrew, who was actually Molly.
Yes.
Yeah. So, all right, everybody, best fishes, and we'll see you again sometime.
See you later.
Hit the X at the top left-hand corner. And yep.